Well, here we go. We're going to start the teardown. Well, made a little boo-boo. I didn't realize the camera wasn't recording the whole time. I guess I got some of it. It's been doing this temperature thing. I don't know what's going on. So, she's out. And she is on an engine stand. So, that's good. We'll take the rest of the night off. I think I got it out in a total of 7 hours, 6 hours. I put in 3 hours yesterday and about 3 hours today, so 6 hours. We got the entire motor out. So yeah, we'll continue again tomorrow. How's it going, guys? So as you can see, I got the motor out and I've been having camera issues. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It keeps telling me temperature and it's 70 and 65 degrees here, so I don't know what's going on. But so we got the engine out and we're right now disassembling everything. I got mostly everything off the front of it. So we got the cover off for the high pressure fuel pump, and then I'm going to go ahead and start taking everything off the heads, starting with the injectors, and then we'll get the head off and then we'll spin it around and then start taking the belly pan off. So yeah, now these injectors sometimes you can wiggle them a little bit, and if they feel like they're going to come out, they will, like that. But you don't want to put too much pressure on them. They technically shouldn't wiggle out like that. I do have an injector puller, so for the ones that aren't coming out, I will be using that to get the rest of them out. So that one was number 5. And I'll show you guys real quick. So like for me, I like to label everything. So I have my bucket full of individual parts, nuts, bolts, everything labeled. So for instance, this one is some of the sensors from the front end. We got high pressure fuel pump hardware, oil filter housing hardware, and a sensor. So that's kind of what I'm doing in the gist of it. So all this stuff here on the table right now will be labeled as valve cover hardware. So here's my injector puller toolkit. I got this off Amazon, I think. It was pretty cheap, but it does the job. So yeah, definitely recommend getting one of these. And as goes for anything with aluminum, steel bolts or anything like that, definitely want to tighten everything as much as you can down by hand, or at least start it by hand, and get a significant amount of threads in that way. You know you're not messing it up. All right, so we got the cylinder head off. Wasn't too hard of a task. Go ahead and take a look. The lighting's kind of shitty right now. So let me grab this light. Let's see if I can't drag it over here. Give us a little bit more light on what's going on here. So, pistons all look pretty good. I'm aware cylinders look good, look in good shape. No heavy scoring, which I'm really happy about. But so either way, we're gonna bore these cylinders out 1/2 millimeter, and yeah, go from there. So next we're gonna flip this thing upside down, and then take the oil pan off and see what we look like on the bottom side. All right, so we're in the garage today. I have the garage door closed because it is cold and windy and rainy today. But we got the engine block back from machining, and currently I have got the crank in with the new bearings, and we are gonna do some plasti gauge. So what this does is that you actually, let me show you guys real quick. So you can order plasti gauge, comes in this piece of paper, and then what you do is once you put the new bearings on and you install the bearings, you go ahead and you torque down to the factory spec the lower half of the engine to the crankshaft, and then that'll actually make this plasti gauge spread out. And then based off of this piece of paper, you can gauge depending on what the spec is, and you can just go ahead and check it and make sure that that's within the tolerances of factory spec. These are standard bearings. I didn't do anything to the crank. The crank looked to be in pretty good shape. Didn't have any score marks or damage or anything like that. So we went ahead and just left the crank alone. And so we're gonna check these right now, and then we'll see how they turn out. All right, so we got the bottom half off, and as you can see, the plasti gauge did its job. And so we go ahead and we can measure on either or. The spec, I believe, for this engine is between 0.02 and 0.046. So if we go ahead and we take our measurement here, it's not quite that, it's more than that. So I think we're in between 0.038 and 0.051. So that would put us within spec. That one's, so you can see the lines are in the middle, so it's a little bit easier. So that's right around 0.038, that's good. This one, 0.038. This one. So yeah, it looks like we're within spec on all of these. So it looks like we're good. So we can go ahead and reassemble this, and then now we have to actually fill it in here with the gasket material, or it's actually a liquid gasket that they give from BMW. So we'll fill that in there, and then we can go ahead and seal this back up. All right, we got one piston in. Now what I'm doing here is I am filing the piston rings. I have my piston ring filer here mounted to the table. And what I'm doing is taking, based off of this calculation that Manley gives for the amount of boost that we're running between 15 and 30, we're gonna take that bore size, which is 84.5 millimeters, and we're gonna times it by 0.007 for the top and the second ring. So this is gonna be vital to the compression and the operation of the engine. So in order to make everything operate correctly, your piston ring gap has to be perfect. If it's too small, and then with the amount of expansion from the heat, these end up touching, you'll end up scoring your cylinder and most likely seizing your piston in the cylinder. This is not good, obviously. We have to make room for heat expansion with more boost. So what we're doing here is we're gapping these to the figures that we've been given on the Manley sheet there. So what I'm doing here is we're setting this up like so, and you're pressing up against these two dowels and then making sure it's saying to cut on an inward motion. We also have to make sure that on these, this is the second ring. So let me bring you back over here. This is the second ring and it's got a dot on it. You can kind of see it right there. So this one's gonna be dot facing upward per the sheet. And so upward and inward of a cut. And so we'll do that and I'll kind of breeze through these. We have, this is the bottom ring. I already actually just finished, let's see, where did I set it? I just finished the top ring. I already put it in the piston. So we already finished the top ring on this one. So that one's all good to go. And then I'll put the oil rings in. And then once you install those, this is key to reading the paper because on this piece of paper here, it shows you where the locations of each ring gap should be. So your top compression ring gap will be here at the very top. The bottom one, the second compression ring gap will be at the very bottom, so 180 degrees to that. You have your ring oil gap, expander gap, so that's gonna be, it's gonna be that ring. And then those are the two other rings that go on the top and bottom of it. And then it also has those locations for the bottom oil ring gap there and the top oil ring gap. So those are the locations of where the oil ring gaps and the compression ring gap should be located on the piston. And then you see it's got the wrist pin center line there. So, and then you have forward engine is to the right here. So on this piston, we have it set up like so. So we got the top compression, bottom second compression ring, and then we have the oil ring gap is somewhere in this area. And then from there, we have the wrist pin that's right here is the center line, and you have your top oil ring gap and then your bottom oil ring gap. So that's how it should be set up. So I'll cruise through this and get that part done. All right, now for the fun stuff. Let's try to get these as far down as I can. All right, so put some assembly lube. All right, so now take our MBS crank. Drop it in like so. Two bound up here. Okay. Well, my bad. I got just in a groove and started assembling it. So we got the top half off, or back on, have all the gasket. Let's see if you can kind of see it. See, it's pinched out here, pinched out there. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So that should be all sealed across, filled these holes like instructed. So then after we did that, did the connecting rods, got them all, got 3 plastic gauge. They all came out really well. So went ahead and assembled the rest of it. Got everything torqued up to the Manley specs. And now we're gonna go from there. All right, so we got the head on the block and now we got the timing tool out. So we're gonna be setting the timing on the cams here and putting the cam gears on with the timing chain and then slowly start reassembling everything. So it's coming together nicely. All right, we're back in the garage. Just wanna apologize. I haven't been the greatest about filming every little step. I didn't mean for this to become a full tutorial on how to build a BMW engine or how to disassemble. I kind of just wanted to show some of the important things and show me actually building this engine. I am by no means an expert on building BMW engines. I've worked at machine shops for many years. I've built engines over the last 20 years, but I've mostly done a lot of small block engines, Ford small blocks, some Ford flatheads, and Ford four-bangers out of like Model Ts, Model As. So I understand the basics of building an engine. I've not built anything turbo related. We've done a lot of nitrous motors, but this is my first like inline six BMW build that I've done on my own. I had a lot of friends back home in California where I grew up that were really big into the BMW scene, and they built engines all the time, and so I was kind of around it but never really hands-on with it. So this is my first build. So like I said, sorry I haven't been the greatest on filming everything. This wasn't meant to be a step-by-step procedure on how to build an engine. I covered some of the important things with the engine build, so I think that should be enough. The rest is pretty much the basics. You know, we started with the block, put the pistons, connecting rods, crank on, did all the new bearings, showed you how to do the plastic gauge. I didn't show you how I timed it. There was a special tool, but I did show it being timed with the tool. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show you guys here. So we got all the coils, spark plugs, and injectors installed with the fueling. So after installing all that, I realized that was done prematurely. I spoke with Dorch Engineering today, and it looks like I'm gonna be needing to update my fuel system. My high pressure fuel pump is their old version of their stage 2. And so with that being said, I am going to also upgrade they have a new N55 lift kit that's supposed to increase the flow 49%. So I'm going to be going with the new lift kit. So I'm sending in my high pressure fuel pump and my Bosch high pressure system, and they're gonna update that all for me for this system. And then we're working out something right now to do the bundle with the injectors. These injectors currently are restricted. They said 530 wheel horsepower with the 85. We obviously know I'm gonna be well over that. So as I was already at that pretty much with my previous setup. So we're gonna switch over to the S63s, which are good to 800 wheel horsepower with full E85. So sounds like we're gonna be doing that with Dorch Engineering. And then I have another big announcement. I don't know how many of you follow my Instagram, but I announced a few weeks ago that I'm partnering with Jack's Transmissions. They're out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. A lot of people know them for some of their GTR transmission work and some of the Supras. They do a lot of the ZF stuff. And so they're working with me, and we're gonna build my transmission. I actually sent out my transmission a week and a half ago, and they just got it on Monday. And they're going to be doing their, I think it's like a Street 750 kit with the upgraded E-hub. So that's really awesome. I'm really happy to be working with them. Their transmission, if you do the upgraded E-hub, they will warranty the transmission for 14 months and unlimited miles, which I thought was really, really cool to hear. So yeah, definitely looking forward to working with them and getting the transmission back. And then after that, hopefully we'll get the turbo back from Pure. Spoke to Jimmy today, and he told me that they're just waiting on the machine inlets. Those should be in by the end of this week, so hopefully get the turbo maybe sometime into next week or the following week. That way, it sounds like we'll be getting everything pretty much at the same time. The Dorch, they said about 2-3 weeks. Transmission, they said about 2 weeks, and so it's looking about another 2 weeks for the Pures. So yeah, so other than that, been still pretty busy in the garage. There's still a lot of stuff on the ground. We're gonna be doing a lot more than I planned on doing. So I'll bring you guys around here real quick. And so I don't know what brought me into the decision to do this, but I just went with it. And I ended up painting the entire engine bay gloss black. We also ended up doing a lot of things that are gonna change locations. Like I will no longer have the windshield washer reservoir fill tube coming up the top. I've relocated it to the other side there, and some other components here. But we painted everything black within the engine bay. We're gonna paint the engine. And on top of that, we got some new suspension parts down there. Got some Turner, some of the lower control arms for the front, and we got some new sway bar extension links, so that's going to be cool. So we'll be upgrading a bunch of that kind of stuff. And then this box right here is full of 2.5 inch and 3 inch stainless steel tubing. So I'm going to be redoing my entire exhaust. We got over here, sorry, I'm just walking you guys around the garage. I got over here, we got some Vibrant resignators. So we'll be using these and building the exhaust. Hopefully next week I'll get into the shop and start TIG welding up the exhaust. We're gonna do full back dual out like we were before, but I'm gonna remove the factory resonator, and then I'm gonna do some upgrades to my current downpipe, and then we'll be sending everything out to get jet coated. So really excited for everything that's going on. So thanks for sticking around. This is part 1. We'll be releasing part 2. I'll try to do a better job on filming the reassembly, the installing of the turbo, do a rundown on the turbo. Also, I'll do another full rundown on the Dorch Engineering upgrade for the N55, the new high pressure fuel pump with the lift and the injectors. And then, then when we get the transmission, also sent all the cross member. We got the subframe out. I sent the subframe and all the components in there to powder coat. So all that stuff's getting powder coated, satin black. So this whole engine compartment's gonna stay looking pretty black, which will be cool. And then got some forged carbon parts coming in for the engine bay. So really, really excited with how things are going. I'm super excited to show you guys some more progress. Again, I'll do my best on being better about filming some of this stuff as it goes along. I've been having camera issues. I've mentioned it many times in the videos, and so hopefully I can get those resolved and we can keep on going. So thank you guys for sticking around. I really appreciate it, and we'll hope to talk to you guys very soon. Take it easy, guys. Thanks.